Genesis has been kicking ass, taking names, and then giving those names back to the German luxury brands in the form of awards. The GV70 is next in that line to continue Genesis dominance. And they do a lot of things really well, but one thing they do fall short on is fuel economy. So today we're going to take this GV70 compact crossover, head out on the highway, do 100 miles, and see what sort of fuel economy you can realistically expect in the real world. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. I do have to say, I absolutely love this color combination. This dark chocolatey brown along with the black, and then, it's going to be a little hard to see in the front, but you'll see it when we get around the back. It's a very dark metallic blue color on this car. It's the 2.5 liter engine, which is more than enough power for just about anybody in this class. Still has 300 horse and it pulls strong. I'm actually really happy with this powertrain so far with my time with it. I love the design of the car. I love the size. I love the interior. This is seriously a vehicle in the running for my favorite car of the year. So if you do want to see more on it, check the links in the description. We do have a sound system test of this Lexicon audio system. We're going to be finishing that on the drive here today. I think I'm going to shoot a members only sound test as well. So if you do want to see that, sign up to become a Daily Motor member. See those kind of bonus tracks, if you will. And we'll have a DM test drive shot by Mr. Brower. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this G70, I think, 28 miles per gallon. There are actually two entries for the 2.5 liter all-wheel drive GV70. I've probably been saying G70 throughout this video. But they have two entries on the EPA fuel economy site. One gives 26 on the highway and the other gives 28. And I'm assuming the 26 is for the sport model, but this is not the sport model, so I'm gonna go with maybe 28. But either way, that test, the EPA test, only tests the cars at an average of 48 miles per hour. We know there are people who take their vehicles on long road trips and would like to know what sort of numbers they can realistically expect in the real world. In order to do that, we're coming over here to the pump. We're going to fill up, go out and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour. Come back to the same pump, fill up using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. One thing to note, I was just driving Fords last week that had the rotary shift knob, and you go over to the right for drive and go over to the left for park. This one, you go over to the right for drive, but you press for park. So I've been putting into reverse habitually lately, but just a small side note. Anyway, a few things to note for today. Outside temperatures 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Tire pressures have been set to their door placard, 33 psi front, 36 psi rear cold. And we're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. Now, yes, this might hurt the fuel economy a little bit, but we're trying to get a realistic test, and that's how people travel in the real world. So let's shut it off, hop out, fill it up. One thing I do not care for with the GV70 is premium fuel is recommended. Now, if I owned this vehicle and I were just cruising on the highway, I would not put premium in, but I get lit up in the comments if I don't put premium in here. 3.619 gallons going in for our first fill. Before firing up the engine, we've got our GPS reset. We're going to reset the car's trip computer right here. There's a sense refueling one and a drive info. We're just gonna, excuse you, reset the accumulated info as well. Climate control's at 73, no seat heat, no heated steering wheel, nothing plugged into the electronics. I think we're good to go. A few different drive modes in the GV70 you've got, starting from the top. Snow, Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Custom. We're gonna run this test in Eco. We're gonna take it nice and easy over the highway. It's about half a mile away. Pick up the test from there. The point of this test isn't a hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy for the car, but rather a realistic fuel economy number. In order to do that, we're going to get up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace and then set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour. This should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. Another thing this test allows me to do is spend a little extra time with the car. There are a lot of reviewers that spend less time in the cars than you'd think. They might have a week with it or possibly a little more or less, but they might only spend an hour, a few hours with the car and then review it. And there are times when we do that as well. We try to label those as first drives rather than kind of DM test drives, if you will. But driving a car like this on the highway for a while allows me to really see how it is in a lot of different situations and maybe notice some things that I wouldn't notice otherwise. The other thing is it does allow me to test the sound system pretty extensively. It looks like the GPS is dead on accurate with the speedometer. That's That's pretty cool. I don't see many cars that are that accurate. Look, if I go up to 73 there on the GPS too. It's very close. So we'll settle into 72. I'm curious how this GV70 is going to be on the highway. It seems like a really good, comfortable car. It's pretty quiet in here. I'm impressed by that. And the seats are pretty comfortable. Should be a nice place to be. We're going to continue on with the test and catch up with you at the end. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the GV70 2.5 liter, no big surprise that it has been a nice, smooth, easy highway run in this car. Seats are pretty comfortable, pretty good amount of adjustments. I am a bit surprised there's no thigh adjustment here. Maybe on one of the top tier trims there would be. Nice place to be. Got this big old Ford Econoline looking steering wheel. Nice to rest your hand on the bottom. The active lane keeping is excellent. You can drive for a good amount of time without putting any effort into the steering at all. Sound system is great. If you want to see that test, check the link in the description for both our members only test and our general sound system test for the masses. What are we getting according to the dash here? I think we're going to go that direction actually. 26.7, so that's either above EPA or below, depending on which number we're supposed to be aiming at here. We don't have a window sticker for this car, so unfortunately we don't know exactly what sort of fuel economy we should be expecting. But either way, we're going to take it nice and easy back to the pump, fill up, and see what sort of numbers we calculate, which is more important than what the EPA thinks you're going to get. 3.482 gallons going in for our final fill. 95.4 divided by 3.482 is giving us 27.4 miles per gallon. Ooh, and I bet you if it were not near freezing outside right now, that would go up to 28 miles per gallon. So I'm gonna call it, we're rounding it up to 28. You all can take what you want from this, but Daily Motor stance, it's a little cold out and cars tend to do, it's proven that cars don't do as well in colder weather as they would at warmer temperatures. So if you were running this at 70 degrees outside, I bet you'd get 28 miles per gallon. Now that number's still a little bit lower than a lot of its German counterparts. There's something about the Hyundai Genesis type motors, they just aren't quite as efficient as stuff you get out of Germany, but hopefully it's a little bit more reliable. We do have a 17.4 gallon fuel tank in here, so 17.4 times 28 miles per gallon. It's giving you an effective highway cruising range of 480 miles here in the 2022 Genesis GV70 2.5 liter all-wheel drive. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Genesis, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.